It has been a long time since I've done a podcast. And I can tell you that I have told myself that I just don't have time to do it. Well, I am currently on a 16 and a half hour road trip. So I had the great idea of just doing a road trip series while I get bored throughout this drive. I'm just going to, sit and talk, try to give you guys some good advice, and we'll figure out where we go from there. But speaking of time management, no better topic to talk about on this comeback podcast than time management. I want you guys to kind of think about, what are the things that are eating up the important moments in your day? I can tell you for me, it's probably social media. It is kind of, between, putting up posts for my Instagram to, do the fitness stuff, representing brands or whatever that have reached out to me. A lot of my time is spent on social media productively, but I will say that I probably scroll a little too much, just entertaining myself, and that time could be more productive. I could be doing something better with myself, or spending more time with my family. My kids are getting older, so their friends, for some reason, our house has become like the way or the place that especially for my daughter, for all of her friends to come over and play. I don't just like letting her out in the yard play by herself. I would rather, kind of keep an eye on her, be outside, kind of watch. And there are days where I'm like, no, you're not going to play. I don't want to sit. Basically, I make an excuse for not sitting out there and letting my daughter play with her friends. When in all reality, all I'm going to do is sit on the couch and watch some mindless entertainment on the TV. So not only am I depriving myself of spending time with my daughter, I'm depriving myself of that time she can socially interact with her friends. So here lately, I have been much more open to the idea of her playing with her friends. Every once in a while she has to go to their house. Not really down for that. I'd rather them just stay in my yard, play at our house. Maybe I'm too controlling. Maybe I'm not trusting enough of other parents, but they don't seem to care to basically pawn their kids off on us, so I'm okay with that. So that's one way that I know I've been wasting my time, is mindlessly sitting on my couch watching TV instead of letting my daughter play outside. Or another one is usually when I get home from work, because I get up fairly early. I work out in the mornings. I take the dog on a walk. I get all that stuff out of the way, and I help get the kids ready, put them on the bus before I go to work. I spend all day at work. And I come home, get the kids off the bus, pick the kids up from school. Most of the times I'll make dinner. By the time dinner's over, table cleaned up, I'm ready to sit down and watch TV, which I'm trying to fix now. But my son has become interested in fitness, kind of into that, right? He's been asking me to do a conditioning club at school and maybe workouts he can do. At night, he was talking about the other night. He was like, what if I do 100 push-ups every night before I go to bed? And I was like, buddy, that's great. That's awesome. I was like, you might just want to stick with how many you can do at once. Just like, hey, tonight you're going to do as many as you can. And then tomorrow you do as many as you can. And then the next day you do as many as you can. You kind of watch yourself progress. I didn't want to discourage him from going out too hard, being sore, not being able to move, and then he just quits, right? Because that's a big problem with a lot of people. When they go to start something, they make a really lofty goal with a really short period of time. They get frustrated. So I kind of wanted to lower his expectations so that he can meet his goal faster, or he can see progress faster, so he gets more encouraged and he kind of keeps going with it. So, but he's asked me for some training stuff, and out of sheer laziness of just like taking time to sit down and maybe write something out with him or ask him what he wants to do, I've kind of not engaged with him, and that's a fault of my own because I've been occupying my time with stuff other than, what should be important. What is important, but it should be more important, because I would rather scroll social media. I would rather sit down and watch TV. I will say though, usually if I sit down and watch TV, my wife will scratch my back, and that's probably my favorite thing in the world, is just sitting there and letting her scratch my back. I don't know why. Maybe it's because that's the only way my mom could keep me quiet as a kid, was to scratch my back. I was a pretty loud child. I mean, imagine that, right? So there is a little bit of an incentive to sit down and watch TV, because I do get my back scratched, which is probably my favorite thing in the world. But I need to put a while aside, kind of that self-pleasure, that release of dopamine, and engage more with my kids. I need to make sure that I'm spending more time with them, because here for my son's birthday, we got him a cell phone. I can already see that the little games have got him sucked in, because I've got it so I can control it, how much time he spends playing games, and what he's, all of the parental controls, and I can, I limit all those factors, and I get a lot of requests. Hey, Dad, can I get more time on this? Hey, Dad, can I get more time on this? And I feel like if I started to engage with him more, I get myself off my cell phone, I can get him off his cell phone. We can spend time in the gym, doing whatever he is looking to do, whether it's push-ups or whatever goals he wants to make for himself. He says he wants to be huge and jacked, although I can't get him to eat hardly anything. Maybe I'll start shoving mass gainer down his throat or something, I don't know. But by utilizing my time more efficiently, I can show him that there is other things out there than his cell phone, than the mindless zombie games and whatever other weird game he has downloaded. I don't even know. It's Ho or something. I don't even. It's whatever, right? So you got to ask yourself, what are the things that are eating up your time that you could more effectively engage with your family, or maybe work, or friends? You gotta kind of prioritize, because you can't give 100% to work, you can't give 100% to family, you can't give 100% to friends, you can't give 100% to fitness, you can't give 100% to whatever it is, right? You only have 100%. So you got to figure out what is the most important thing, and then you focus on that. If family is the most important thing, then you got to kind of prioritize the time you spend with them, right? I guarantee social media is not at the top of your list. I guarantee watching TV is not at the top of the things that you are prioritizing. So you just got to figure that out. If it's spending time with your family, you know what? That low-hanging fruit, social media, TV time, going out and doing whatever, right? That kind of falls down, right? You got to prioritize that time to spend with your family. We all got to work. We got to spend time with that. highly encourage everyone to spend some time on fitness, right? But maybe you're not utilizing as much time of the day as you could. I'm not gonna lie, I hate waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I hate it. It sucks every time. But I know that if I wake up at 4, I can get my coffee, I can get my ice bath, I can play ball with the dog, and I can get my workout in before my kids wake up and my wife wakes up and I have to start getting them ready for school. And then I can do all that stuff and then I go to work. And then once I'm home from work, I know that I don't have to focus on any of that stuff anymore, that the rest of my evening is free to focus on what I have prioritized. For me right now, I need to focus more on spending time with my kids and my wife. I don't want to forget my wife. So, maybe you need to wake up earlier. Maybe you need to go to bed later. I like to go to bed at, we put the kids to bed fairly early. Sleep is important for children, right? We kind of go to bed about the same time that they do, because if we're up, they're never going to go to sleep. So we go to bed. I usually pass right out. I have no problem falling asleep. My wife, I think she has to wind down a little more. She'll sit there and she's listened to Bible verses, and I've seen her kind of going through emails and kind of winding down her day and kind of unwinding herself so that she can sleep at night too. But maybe you just got to go to bed later at night, right? Maybe you do put the kids to bed, but then you got to finish up all that stuff in some quiet time later in the evening, so that you set yourself up for success the next day. Because maybe your day starts early, you don't have that time to wake up early, or you don't want to wake up early. Maybe you kind of refocus or reshift where you're putting that time in. So time is the one thing that we can never get back. That's a simple fact. The 12 minutes you've been listening to me for right now, that's 12 minutes you're never getting back. I hope that last 12 minutes was something that improves your life, or improved your life, or will improve your life, however I should say that. But time is the one thing we can never get back. So if we're not utilizing it in the best way possible, we're wasting it. Right? So, maybe you just got to sit down. Sit down and, go through your day like, hey, I have done this on my calendar, on my phone. I literally have, it's just for me, right? I have ice bath, I have gym time, I have lunch, I have everything that I do throughout the day. I put it on a calendar, and sometimes it's annoying because my phone will ding like, oh, hey, tomorrow you got ice bath at 4:15 in the morning. I'm like, well, that's stupid. I know I do. But I can look at my calendar and I can see whether I'm being efficient or not. I can see if I'm wasting time, right? So if I'm doing one thing and my calendar's like, oh, you're supposed to be doing this, I'm like, not being efficient with my time, and I figure out what I need to do better, or where I need to stop wasting time at. Because it's one thing we can never get back, so we don't want to waste it. We got to make the best use of it. So I apologize for the long delay in the number or the podcasts. Hopefully I can get quite a few of these pumped out. I'm going to keep them fairly short because I'm driving. This is probably against the law. I don't know. Probably more than likely. I'm sure I'm going to have somebody comment the fact that I shouldn't be doing this. But the camera is right there. The road is right there. I'm literally looking at the road as I'm looking at the camera. But if you've been following me on social media lately, this is October of 2023. I kind of been posting some scripture stuff, kind of relating what, the scripture has said into how it kind of relates to regular life. But it's really kind of tied into the message of today can be day one, right? Today can be that day for change. The best time for change was yesterday. The next best time is today, right? So if you need to refocus, if you need to change up kind of what you're doing, and kind of gain back that time that you've been wasting, Start putting stuff on your calendar. Do it tonight. Sit down, write it out. Do it on your phone. It doesn't matter, right? Reprioritize the time that you're using. Figure out what your focus area is. And today can be day one for you to find out where you can clean up that wasted time and how you can spend more time doing the thing that you want to focus on. Like for me, it's going to be my family and spending time with my kids. So today can be day one. Welcome to the Road Trip Podcast Tour. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys